The ice in my glass doesn't clink. It clicks. Small, sharp sounds against the crystal, matching the rhythm of Olivia's laugh across the room. It's that low, throaty chuckle she uses on investors. The one that says I'm brilliant, I'm in charge, and you're lucky to be in my orbit. I don't look at her. I look at the crowd parting for her, the way they do for a queen. Goddamn, she's on fire tonight. Lucas Shaw mutters beside me. He's holding a tumbler of scotch like it's a prop in a play he hasn't bothered to learn. 900 million, Danny boy. 900 million. And all thanks to the Shaw method. I finally turn my head. Lucas is wearing a tailor-made Tom Ford that probably costs more than my first car. His hair is perfect, his smile is perfect, and his understanding of the pulse bridge system is a flat 0. It's called pulse bridge, Lucas. And you didn't build the algorithm that identifies insurance fraud. You just learned how to run a report. He scoffs, taking a slow sip. Semantics. Perception is reality, buddy. In 3 hours, we close the Atlanta acquisition. Once those papers are signed, Meridian Care is the king of the Southeast. And me? I'm the guy who made the tech scalable. He winks. Try not to look so gloomy. You're the husband of the CEO. Smile. Look supportive. I don't smile. I look past him to Mom. She's standing near the dessert station, looking small in her best navy blue dress. She's got that look on her face. The one she used in the ER when a resident tried to tell her a patient was fine while their vitals were crashing. She's staring at a stack of glossy reports on the nearby table. Excuse me, I say. Lucas grabs my arm. His grip is soft, manicured. Where are you going? Libby's about to do the keynote. She's going to thank the executive team. Play nice. I pull my arm free. Play nice yourself, Lucas. I walk over to Mom. Up close, I see her fingers trembling against the edge of the report she's managed to snag. Mom? She doesn't look up. Daniel, look at these numbers. Her voice is steady, but her eyes are sharp, scanning the columns. They've scrubbed the level 1 traumas from Grady Memorial. Look at this. Average wait time, 12 minutes? Bullshit. I was consulting there last month. They were boarding patients in the halls for 2 hours. It's a PR packet, Mom. They're smoothing the edges for the lenders. Smoothing the edges? She finally looks up at me, her blue eyes hard. This isn't smoothing, Daniel. This is criminal. They've deleted the code blue responses for the last quarter. If the state sees this, they'll pull their accreditation. And if they don't, people are going to die because the new administrators will think these wait times are acceptable. Before I can stop her, she takes the report and walks toward the center of the room. The crowd parts again, this time for her. Olivia sees her coming. Her smile tightens. Olivia, Mom says, holding out the report. A few heads turn. We need to talk about this data. You can't present these wait times. They're missing the delayed transfers from the stroke unit. Lucas materializes. He doesn't look at Mom. He looks at the growing circle of investors. Mrs. Mercer, I think you've had a bit too much wine. Why don't we get you back to your seat? Mom pulls the report closer to her chest. Don't patronize me, Lucas. I've been a nurse longer than you've been stealing other people's work. These numbers are fudged. You deleted the entries for the patients who waited over an hour in the ER last Tuesday. I remember those cases. Lucas's jaw clenches. He reaches for the report. Give me that. No. Mom's voice is firm. These are patient lives we're talking about. You don't get to hide this because it makes your acquisition look bad. Lucas snatches at the paper. Mom holds on. There's a brief, ugly tug of war. Then Lucas shifts his weight, twists his wrist, and backhands her. The sound isn't a smack. It's a sharp, wet crack that cuts through the string quartet like a gunshot. Tom doesn't slow down. It stops. Mom staggers back. I lunge, catching her before she hits the floor. I feel the heat radiating off her cheek. There's a thin line of blood welling up at the corner of her lip where his ring caught her. The room is dead silent. Hundreds of eyes are on us. I look up at Olivia. She's standing there, her champagne glass frozen halfway to her mouth. She's not looking at Mom's face. She's looking at Lucas's hand. Then she looks at the investors. Security, she says. Her voice is calm. Too calm, like she's reading from a teleprompter. Please escort Mrs. Mercer to the lobby. She's clearly overwrought. I gently lower Mom onto a velvet bench. I grab a linen napkin from a passing waiter and press it to her lip. It comes away red. I look at Olivia. Really look at her. I wait for the woman I married to surface. I wait for her to scream at Lucas, to check on Mom, to do something human. Instead, She steps forward, placing a manicured hand on Lucas's arm. She gives him a tiny, reassuring squeeze. Then she turns to the crowd, her professional mask sliding back into place. Apologies, everyone. My mother-in-law has a history of confusion. Lucas was simply protecting sensitive patient data from being mishandled. Let's not allow this to disrupt the evening. Mom looks at Olivia, her eyes wide with disbelief. He hit me, Livy, she whispers. There's no anger in it, just a deep, bone-weary sadness. He hit me, and you're worried about the data? Olivia sighs, checking her diamond-encrusted Patek Philippe. Susan, please, don't be so dramatic. It was a misunderstanding. We're closing a $9 billion deal in a few hours. Do not screw this up for Daniel. I stand up, slowly. I look down at Mom, then back at Olivia. You're really going to let him do this? Olivia's eyes narrow. Daniel, don't start. Take her home. Get her some ice. We'll talk about this tomorrow when you both calm down. I reach down, helping Mom to her feet. She's light, fragile. She holds my arm, leaning into me. I'm fine, baby, she murmurs. I'm just disappointed. I guide her toward the exit. I don't look back at the crowd. I don't look back at Lucas. I keep my eyes on the double doors leading to the cold Atlanta night. Once we're in the elevator, Mom finally lets out a shaky breath. She didn't even blink, Daniel. I know, Mom. She chose him. Over me. Over the truth. I know. The elevator doors open to the parking garage. The cold air hits us. I help her into the passenger seat of the Mercedes. I crank the heat. I pull out my phone. I open the Pulse Bridge admin app. The screen glows blue in the dark. What are you doing? Mom asks. I scroll past the patient logs, past the billing errors Lucas has been hiding. I find a section labeled System Governance. I tap the toggle next to Manual Override. A confirmation prompt appears. Warning: activating manual override will restrict system access to essential clinical functions only. All acquisition and reporting modules will be suspended. Proceed? I look at Mom. Her cheek is already purpling. She meets my eyes in the dim light of the dashboard. She doesn't say a word. She just nods. I hit confirm. A green check mark appears. Override active. I put the phone down. I start the car. As we pull out of the garage, I glance in the rearview mirror. Through the tinted glass of the St. Regis, I can see the warm, golden light of the ballroom. It looks like a gilded cage. She's going to call, Mom says quietly. My phone vibrates. Olivia's name flashes on the screen. I silence it. Then I block the number. Let her wonder, I say. I merge onto Peachtree Street, heading toward the interstate, toward Charlotte, toward the quiet house where I wrote the first lines of code for Pulse Bridge 5 years ago. Tonight, Olivia Grant thinks she's closing a deal. She thinks she's protected by a $900 million loan and a husband who stays in the shadows. She's wrong. Tonight, I'm not the shadow. I'm a man holding the kill switch. I just flipped it. The drive back to Charlotte is 4 hours of silence broken only by the hum of the tires on I-85. Mom dozes fitfully, her hand occasionally reaching up to touch her swollen cheek. Each time she stirs, I tighten my grip on the wheel. The anger isn't hot anymore. It's a cold, hard knot in my gut. It's the same feeling I had when I was 15 and some drunk asshole at a bar tried to grab Mom on her birthday. I'd swung a pool cue then. Tonight, I'm swinging something heavier. Around midnight, I pull into the driveway of our house in Myers Park. It's a massive Tudor-style place Olivia bought with her first big bonus. I hate it. It's too big, too echoey, and it smells like the expensive candles she burns to cover up the fact that nobody actually lives here. I help Mom inside. She sinks onto the leather sofa in the study. I grab the first aid kit from the kitchen. I sit on the coffee table in front of her, cleaning the cut on her lip with an antiseptic wipe. She hisses but doesn't pull away. I should have kept my mouth shut, she says. No, I say, my voice rough. You shouldn't have. You did exactly what a nurse should do. You saw a problem and you spoke up. And look what happened. She tries to smile, but it turns into a wince. Your wife chose a lying, thieving bastard over her own mother-in-law. I finish cleaning the wound. I apply a small butterfly bandage. She didn't choose him over you, Mom. She chose the idea off him. She chose the fantasy that he's the genius who's going to make her richer. She's been swallowing that lie for months because it's easier than admitting I built the empire she's standing on. I stand up and walk to the wet bar. I pour myself 2 fingers of bourbon. I don't offer Mom any. She doesn't drink when she's on pain meds. I knock it back in one gulp. The burn feels good. It feels real. My laptop is on the desk. I flip it open. The screen illuminates my face. I log into the secure server where I've been archiving the discrepancies Lucas has been feeding into PulseBridge. It's worse than I thought. He's not just fudging wait times. He's altering medication inventory logs to hide theft, rerouting Medicare billing codes to inflate reimbursements, and, most damningly, deleting incident reports from the Atlanta hospitals we're about to acquire. I start compiling the evidence. Screenshots, audit trails, timestamps. I create 3 encrypted folders. One labeled SEC, one labeled NC Medical Board, one labeled BlackRock Ventures, the New York private credit fund providing the $900 million. I attach a note to the BlackRock folder. Subject: material misrepresentation of collateral. Review attached logs. PulseBridge IP remains private property of Daniel Mercer. Current operational data is falsified. Personal guarantee status compromised. I don't send them yet. I close the laptop. I look at Mom. She's watching me, her eyes heavy with pain and exhaustion. Get some sleep, I say. I'm going to stay up. Daniel, what are you going to do? I walk over to the window. The streetlights cast long shadows across the manicured lawn. Somewhere in Atlanta, Olivia is probably celebrating. Lucas is probably counting his commissions. They think they've won. They think I'm just the quiet nerd in the corner who'll take the slap and say thank you. I'm going to let them finish their deal, I say softly. I'm going to let them sign the papers. And then, when they're standing on top of the world, I'm going to pull the rug out from under them. Mom doesn't ask how. She just nods. You always were a better strategist than she gave you credit for. I smile, but doesn't reach my eyes. She'll give me credit soon enough. I spend the rest of the night in the study. I don't sleep. I just watch the clock. At 3:00 a.m., my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Probably a burner. Lucas, where the fuck is the system update? We need the finalized Q3 reports for the closing docs. Answer your wife's calls, you little bitch. I delete the text. I add Lucas's number to the digital dossier I'm building. His arrogance is going to be his downfall. He thinks I'm scared of him. He thinks Olivia's money protects him. He doesn't realize that in 4 hours, the $900 million loan will fund. And the moment it does, the clock on their empire starts ticking backward. At 6:00 a.m., the sun starts to peek over the horizon. I hear the shower turn on in the master bedroom. Olivia must have come home while I was in the zone. I didn't hear the garage door. I didn't hear her footsteps. Good. I close my laptop. I walk into the kitchen and start the coffee maker. The smell of fresh roast fills the air. It's a normal morning, except it isn't. The door to the master bedroom opens. Olivia walks in, wrapped in a silk robe. Her hair is perfect. Her makeup is flawless. She looks like she just stepped out of a boardroom, not a bed. She ignores Mom, sleeping on the sofa, and heads straight for the coffee. You're up early, she says, her tone clipped. Did you see my texts? Lucas has been trying to reach you all night. We need the system ready for the wire transfer at 9. I pour myself a cup of black coffee. I lean against the counter, watching her. Mom's cheek is bruised. She waves a dismissive hand, adding cream to her mug. She'll be fine. It'll fade. We'll get her some arnica gel. Stop making a mountain out of a molehill, Daniel. Today is the biggest day of my career. I need you to be a partner, not a martyr. I take a sip of coffee. It's bitter. Perfect. Is that what you call him? A partner? She freezes. She slowly turns to face me. Her eyes are cold, calculating. Lucas is instrumental to this acquisition. Without his vision, as you call it, we wouldn't be where we are. So yes, he's a partner. And you? You're the guy who owns the tool we're using. Try to remember your place. I set my mug down. The ceramic clicks against the granite. My place, I say quietly, is the guy who can turn the tool off. Her lips thin. Don't threaten me, Daniel. Not today. I will bury you so deep in legal fees you'll never see the light of day. Now, fix the fucking reports. Lucas says the wait times in the Atlanta packet are still too high. Adjust them. Make them look like we're the most efficient provider in the state. I stare at her. This is the moment. The point of no return. I could back down. I could fix the reports. I could pretend the slap never happened. I could stay in this gilded cage and keep being her secret weapon. Or I could end it. I pick up my coffee mug again. I walk past her toward the study. The reports are fine, I say over my shoulder. If Lucas wants them changed, he can do it himself. But he should know the audit trail doesn't lie. And neither do I. I close the study door. I lock it. I sit back down at my desk. I open my laptop. The clock on the screen reads 6:47 a.m. 2 hours and 13 minutes until the wire transfer. I lean back in my chair. I look at the photo on my desk. A picture of Mom and me at my college graduation. She's smiling proud. I'm holding my diploma in computer science. I built something good. I built something to help people. And I let a woman who values a dollar more than a life twist it into a weapon. Never again. I open the email client. I type out a quick message to the SEC tip line. I attach the folder. I schedule it to send at 9:01 a.m. Then I open the folder for BlackRock Ventures. I type a subject line. Urgent. Fraudulent inducement of loan agreement. I hit schedule send for 9:02 a.m. Finally, I open the NC Medical Board complaint. I attach the evidence of patient data manipulation. Schedule send. 9:03 a.m. I close the laptop. The silence in the study is deafening. Outside, I hear Olivia yelling at someone on the phone. Probably Lucas, wondering why the reports aren't changing. I close my eyes. I think about Mom's face when Lucas hit her. I think about Olivia's face when she chose the deal over her own family. At 8:55 a.m., my phone rings. It's a restricted number. I answer. Daniel Mercer? A crisp, professional female voice. This is Victoria Hayes, General Counsel for BlackRock Ventures. We're reviewing the final documentation for the Meridian Care acquisition. We've noticed a discrepancy in the IP representations regarding the Pulse Bridge system. Can you confirm the current ownership status? I smile. A real smile. For the first time in months, it reaches my eyes. Ms. Hayes, I say, my voice steady. I'd be happy to clarify. Pulse Bridge is privately owned by me. Meridian Care has a revocable license. And as of approximately 8 hours ago, due to a material breach of the licensing agreement involving data falsification and personal harm to a licensor's immediate family member, that license has been suspended pending a full forensic audit. There's a long pause on the line. I can almost hear the gears turning in her head. I can almost hear the $900 million house of cards starting to sway. Mr. Mercer, she says, her tone shifting from professional to urgent. Can you repeat that? And can you provide documentation to support this suspension? Already sent, I say, glancing at the clock. 8:59 a.m. Check your inbox in 3 minutes. Have a good day, Ms. Hayes. I hang up. I don't wait for a response. I stand up, open the study door, and walk back into the kitchen. Mom is awake, sitting at the island. Olivia is still on the phone, her back to us. She's screaming now. What do you mean the wire is on hold? What do you mean IP dispute? Daniel, get in here. I walk to the coffee pot and pour myself another cup. I don't look at her. I look at Mom. I raise my mug in a silent toast. Mom raises hers back. Her eyes are clear, sharp, and full of a quiet pride. Outside, the sun is fully up. It's going to be a beautiful day. Inside, Olivia's world is ending. And I'm just getting started. The clock on my monitor reads 4:17 a.m. The house is quiet except for the hum of the cooling fans in my server rack. I'm not in our bedroom. I haven't slept in that bed in months. Not since Olivia started working late with Lucas 3 nights a week. I'm in the converted sunroom I use as a lab. It smells like ozone and cold coffee. My phone vibrates. A text from a number I don't recognize, but I know who it is. Lucas. Fix the Atlanta wait time metrics. BlackRock's underwriters are asking for the raw data. Don't be a hero, Mercer. Just smooth it out so we can close tomorrow. Livy's pissed. I don't reply. I highlight a string of code and hit delete. The screen refreshes. On the monitor beside it, I have the loan agreement Olivia signed yesterday. I read it 6 times. The devil isn't in the details. He's in the definitions. The door opens. Olivia walks in, already dressed in a charcoal gray Armani pantsuit. Her hair is pulled back tight. She looks at my screens, then at the untouched coffee by my elbow. You're still up, she states. It's not a question. I saw Lucas's text. Are you going to cooperate, or are you going to keep sulking about Mommy? I lean back in my chair. The leather creaks. I'm looking at Exhibit C of the BlackRock indenture. The part where you swear under penalty of perjury that Meridian owns all intellectual property necessary for the operation of its business. She waves a dismissive hand, pouring herself a coffee. Corporate formalities, Daniel. Every CEO signs those. It's standard. Standard? I spin the monitor toward her. Look at Section 4. 12, subsection B. Representations of ownership. You certify that there are no side agreements, no reserved rights, and no third-party liens on Pulse Bridge. You lied, Olivia. She takes a sip, her eyes narrowing. I didn't lie. I told them the system is ours. You're my husband. What's yours is ours. Not when I have a registered copyright and a patent filed under my name as an individual 5 years before we ever met. I say, my voice flat. You didn't just bend the truth. You committed fraud to induce a loan. And because you couldn't get the board to sign off on the IP risk, you took it all on yourself. I tapped the screen. The personal guarantee. That's the pretty part. You waived your right to discharge in bankruptcy for any claims arising from misrepresentation of collateral. If that $900 million loan defaults because the collateral, my system, isn't actually yours to pledge, they don't come for the company, Olivia. They come for you. Your trust, your condo in the Hamptons, your retirement accounts, everything. She slams the coffee mug down. Liquid splashes over the mahogany. You selfish son of a bitch. Is that what this is about? You're trying to scare me because Lucas defended the company's interests? Susan embarrassed me in front of half of Atlanta's elite. And you're worried about a piece of paper? I'm worried about the law, I say, standing up. I'm taller than her. I don't yell. I don't need to. Lucas isn't defending the company. He's setting you up to take the fall. He knows I own the system. He told you to sign that guarantee because he knows I'll never let a system I built be used to kill patients for profit. She steps closer, jabbing a finger into my chest. Lucas is trying to save us. He said you'd be reasonable because you love me. He said you'd never let the company fail because you're loyal. Loyal? I laugh, a short, harsh sound. Lucas Shaw is a parasite. He's been skimming consulting fees from the vendors he recommended for the Atlanta rollout. I found a shell companies last night. He's not building an empire. He's looting a burning house. Olivia's face twists. You're jealous. That's what this is. You've always been jealous that I have the vision to take this public, and you're just a code monkey in the basement. I shake my head. No, Olivia. I'm the man who kept you out of prison 5 years ago when your billing practices were under investigation. I'm the man who built the algorithm that fixed your broken network. And now, I'm the man who's going to watch you sign your name to a lie and suffer the consequences. Her phone rings. She answers it, turning away from me. Lucas? Yeah, he's being difficult. No, I signed it. I told you, he won't pull the plug. He's too much of a coward. Just get the wire ready for tomorrow. She hangs up and turns back to me. See? It's done. The money moves in 5 hours. You're going to sit here and keep your mouth shut, or I will ruin you. I'll tell the board you're mentally unstable. I'll say you've been tampering with patient records. I pick up my phone. I open the recorder app. I hit play. I signed it. I told you he won't pull the plug. He's too much of a coward. Her face goes white. Delete that. Why? It's just a corporate formality. I say, mimicking her earlier tone. You just admitted to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and bank fraud. You just confirmed you knowingly signed a personal guarantee based on false information. She lunges for the phone. I step back, pocketing it. You're going to regret this, Daniel. When this deal closes, I'm going to bury you so deep. You can't bury what you don't own, I interrupt. I pick up a manila folder from the desk and toss at her feet. Those are the audit logs from the last 3 months. Every time Lucas deleted a trauma record. Every time he altered a wait time metric to fool the lenders. It's all there. Time stamped. IP addressed to his laptop. She stares at the folder like it's a snake. You're bluffing. Am I? I pull up the email draft to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Georgia. I've already drafted the whistleblower complaint. I just need to hit send. But I'll make you a deal, Olivia. You want the system to run? You want the acquisition to look legit? You tell Lucas to stop cooking the books. You tell him to restore the original data. You do that, and I won't send this email. Yet, she bends down, picking up the folder with trembling hands. She flips through the pages, her breathing getting shallow. He said it was just optimization. Hey, Leet, I say. He's been lying to you since he walked back into your life. He's using you to get his hands on $900 million in liquid capital. And once the deal closes, he's going to disappear, leaving you holding the bag. And because of that personal guarantee, the bag weighs 900 million pounds. She sinks into the chair opposite mine. The fight drains out of her, replaced by a look of naked fear. What do I do? You do nothing, I say. You let the deal close. You let Lucas think he's won. And then, when the money is in the bank and the contracts are filed, you watch what happens when the person you betrayed decides to stop being your safety net. She looks up at me, her eyes wet. Daniel, please. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just wanted to be somebody. You're somebody, I say, my voice cold. You're the CEO who sacrificed her integrity for a headline. You're the wife who let her lover hit her mother-in-law. And soon, you're going to be the debtor who owes $900 million to a very impatient group of New York financiers. She reaches out, grabbing my wrist. Her nails dig into my skin. Don't do this. I'll leave Lucas. I'll give you the company. Just don't let them take everything. I peel her hand off my wrist. It's not my choice anymore, Olivia. You made your bed when you stood there and watched him hit my mother. You made your choice when you signed that guarantee. Now you get to lie in it. I turn back to my monitors. I open the terminal. I type a command. Sudo system to restart pulse bridge. Service. The system reboots. On the secondary screen, I watch the logs. Lucas's unauthorized data streams are blocked. The system reverts to the verified, unaltered clinical data. What did you just do? Olivia asks, her voice cracking. I just locked the doors, I say. From now until the wire transfer, Pulse Bridge will only report the truth. If Lucas tries to change a single digit, the system will flag it and send an automatic alert to the loan syndicate. He won't be able to hide the fraud anymore. Neither will you. She stands up, backing toward the door. You're insane. You're destroying us. I'm saving the patients, I say, not looking at her. And I'm saving myself. You and Lucas? You're on your own. She leaves the room, the door clicking shut behind her. I hear her heels clicking frantically down the hall, followed by the muffled sound of her shouting at Lucas on the phone. I can't make out the words, but I recognize the tone. Panic. Pure, undiluted panic. I check the clock. 5:45 a.m. 3 hours and 15 minutes until the wire transfer. I open new document. I start typing a letter. It's not for Olivia. It's for the board of directors. It's my resignation. It's also a detailed explanation of why I can no longer, in good conscience, allow my technology to be used in the commission of felonies. I save the document. I schedule it to send at 9:05 a.m., 5 minutes after the loan funds. Then, I lean back and close my eyes. For the first time in 5 years, I feel a sense of peace. The system is secure. The truth is logged. And the woman who thought she could use me as a doormat is about to learn what happens when you kick a landmine. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Lucas. Lucas, dude, the data feed just flatlined. What did you do? Fix it now, or Livy's gonna have your head. I don't respond. I just smile. Let him sweat. Let them both sweat. In 3 hours, the world changes. And I'm the only one who knows why. The clock on my phone reads 9:07 a.m. I'm sitting in the corner of the Four Seasons Atlanta lobby, a black coffee going cold in my hand. I'm not hiding. I'm just not in the goddamn war room at Meridian HQ, where Olivia and Lucas are currently having what I imagine is a very loud, very expensive meltdown. My phone rings. Olivia. I decline the call. It rings again and again. On the fourth ring, I answer, putting it on speaker and setting it on the marble table. Daniel, you motherfucker. Her voice is ragged, high-pitched. I can hear Lucas screaming in the background. The system. It's locked. BlackRock just pulled the wire. They're saying the data is fraudulent. What did you do? I take a slow sip of coffee. I told you the data was fraudulent 3 days ago. I told the lenders this morning. There's a difference between hearing me and listening, Olivia. You sabotaged us. She shrieks. I'm calling the police. I'm calling the FBI. You'll go to jail for this. For what? Protecting patient safety? Or maybe for owning my own intellectual property. I lean back, watching a hotel employee polish a nearby lamp. Check your email, Olivia. I CC'd the SEC, the NC Medical Board, and your friends at BlackRock. It's all there. The audit logs. The deleted trauma records. Lucas's little shell game with the vendor kickbacks. Enjoy. I hang up before she can respond. 2 seconds later, a text pops up from an unknown number. Lucas, you are dead, Mercer. I will ruin you. Fix this now. I block the number. I don't need to see the sequel. I stand up as a tall, broad-shouldered man in a charcoal suit approaches. Mark Jensen, former prosecutor, now the best white-collar defense attorney in and Charlotte. He's not here for me. He's here for the cleanup. Mr. Mercer, he says, his voice a low rumble. He pulls out a chair, not waiting for an invitation. I just got off the phone with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Atlanta. They're very interested in the voluntary disclosure you sent them. Voluntary, I repeat. I'm feeling generous today. Jensen cracks a rare smile. Generous is one word for it. Olivia Grant's world is collapsing in real time. BlackRock has already issued a notice of default because of the personal guarantee she signed, based on the fraudulent IP representations. They aren't going after Meridian. They're going after her personal estate, all $900 million. And Lucas? Currently trying to flee the building, Jensen says, glancing at his watch. He's telling anyone who'll listen that Olivia forced him to cook the books. He's claiming she promised him a special dividend if he stayed quiet about the IP issues. He's throwing her under the bus, so fast she's not even feeling the tires yet. I nod. He always was a rat. Speaking of rats, Jensen says, sliding a manila envelope across the table. The board just convened an emergency session. They suspended Olivia effective immediately. They're appointing an interim CEO. They also want to talk to you about licensing PulseBridge to the new Meridian once they've purged the fraudsters. Tell them no, I say, pushing the envelope back. PulseBridge isn't for companies that sign personal guarantees based on lies. I've already transferred the system's operational license to the Independent Healthcare Safety Council. It's a nonprofit. They'll manage the system for the existing hospitals to ensure patient care isn't interrupted, but Meridian's expansion days are over. Jensen raises an eyebrow. You're walking away from a $900 million acquisition? Just like that? Just like that, I say. I stand up, adjusting my cuffs. I built PulseBridge to save lives, not to fund Lucas Shaw's gambling habits or Olivia's ego. If the board wants to use the system, they can negotiate with the council at fair market value, and they can start by firing everyone who touched those deleted records. I turn to leave, but Jensen grabs my arm. His grip is firm. Daniel, wait. Olivia's on her way down. She's not in a good state. I don't care, I say, shaking him off. The elevator doors ding. Olivia bursts out, her hair a mess, her makeup streaked with black tears. She's not wearing her CEO armor anymore. She's wearing a shredded version of it. She sees me and lunges, but Jensen steps between us. Get out of my way, Mark. She screams, clawing at his suit. Daniel, you bastard. You did this. You ruined me. I don't move. I don't flinch. I just watch her. She looks like a stranger. The woman I married would never have let a man hit my mother. The woman I married would have valued the truth over a dollar sign. That woman is gone. I didn't ruin you. Olivia, I say, my voice cutting through her hysterics. You ruined yourself. I just handed you the mirror. She collapses to her knees on the polished floor. Please, she sobs, reaching for my shoes. Please, Daniel. I'll do anything. I'll tell them it was all Lucas. I'll give you the company. I'll sign over everything. Just make the debt go away. They're freezing my accounts. They're coming for my house. I'm going to be destitute. I crouch down, so I'm at her eye level. I don't touch her. I don't offer comfort. I look at her the way a doctor looks at a terminal diagnosis. You stood in a ballroom full of people and told them my mother was confused after your lover broke her skin. I say, each word precise. You chose a $9 billion deal over your own integrity. You signed a paper that said you owned something that was never yours to sell. And now, you owe $900 million. That's not my problem. That's your math. I loved you. She wails. No, I correct her, standing back up. You love what I built for you. You love the reflection of yourself in the glass of my code. But you never loved me. If you had, you would have believed me when I told you the data was wrong. You would have stopped him when he hit her. You would have chosen us over them. Lucas suddenly appears behind her, looking disheveled, his tie loose. He tries to grab Olivia's arm, pulling her up. Get up, Livy. We gotta go. My flight to the Caymans leaves in an hour. I got a charter waiting. Olivia whips around, her grief turning to pure, venomous rage. She swings her fist, catching Lucas square in the nose. Blood sprays across the white marble. You, she screams, punching him again. You did this. You told me to sign it. You told me he'd never shut it down. Lucas stumbles back, clutching his face. You stupid bitch. He shouts, his cultured accent slipping into a snarl. You think they're coming for you? I've already talked to the feds. I told them you ordered the deletions. I told them you knew about the IP. It's your signature on the guarantee, Olivia, not mine. I'm just a consultant you hired to clean up your mess. He turns to me, wiping the blood on his sleeve. Mercer, you smug prick, you think you've won? I'm walking out of here. I've got enough in offshore accounts to live like a king while you play nursemaid to this sinking ship. I pull out my phone. I hit a button. Security is already outside. Lucas. So are two agents from the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. I mentioned your consulting fees to them this morning. Something about structuring transactions to avoid the Bank Secrecy Act. They're very interested in your flight plans. Lucas's face pales. He looks at Olivia, then at me, then at the elevator. He bolts for the stairs. Two burly guys in dark suits appear, nodding at me before following him. Olivia is still on the floor, sobbing into her hands. He's gone, she whispers. He's really gone. And I'm bankrupt. I'm nothing. I look down at her. There's no satisfaction in this. Just a hollow ache where my marriage used to be. You're not nothing, Olivia. You're accountable. There's a difference. I turn to Jensen. Make sure she has a good lawyer. She's going to need one. But tell them I won't be testifying on her behalf. I'll provide the facts. Nothing more. Jensen nods, his expression grim. She's going to lose everything, Daniel. The feds will seize her assets, but they won't cover the full $900 million. She'll be paying that debt for the rest of her life. It's a life sentence without bars. She built the bars herself, I say. I look at Olivia one last time. She's curled up on the floor, a broken queen in a borrowed crown. Goodbye, Olivia. I walk out of the hotel. The Atlanta sun is bright, almost blinding. I get into the rental car and head for the airport. I have a flight to catch. Back to Charlotte. Back to Mom. My phone rings one more time. It's a Charlotte number. I answer. Daniel? It's Mom. Her voice is weak, but clear. I just saw the news. Olivia, is she? She's alive, Mom. I say, merging onto the highway. She's going to be very busy for the next few decades. Paying bills. And Lucas? He's not going to the Caymans. He's going to a holding cell. There's a long pause. Then I hear her sigh. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry I caused all this trouble. I grip the steering wheel tighter. You didn't cause anything, Mom. You told the truth. They just didn't want to hear it. I pause, looking at the road ahead. I'm coming home, and when I get there, we're going to start over. No more Meridian. No more Olivia. Just us. Okay, Danny, she says softly. I'll be here. I love you. Love you too, Mom. I hang up. I drive in silence for a while. The radio is off. The only sound is the engine and the wind. I think about the system I built, now in the hands of people who actually care about the mission. I think about the $900 million in debt that will haunt Olivia like a ghost. I think about the slap that started it all. I reach over and turn on the radio. A news anchor is talking about the shocking collapse of the Meridian Care deal. They're calling it a systemic failure of leadership. I smile. They have no idea. The system didn't fail. It worked exactly as intended. It just wasn't working for them anymore. The air in the Asheville Community Center smells like old wood and fresh coffee. It's a far cry from the sterile, imported Italian marble of the St. Regis. I'm standing in the wings, watching the crowd of rural doctors, nurses, and local politicians settle into the folding chairs. My mother is sitting in the front row. She's wearing her old Navy scrubs under a simple gray blazer. The bruise on her cheek is gone, but the resolve in her eyes is permanent. 3 minutes, Mr. Mercer, a kid with a headset whispers to me. I nod, adjusting the lapel on my sport coat. It's off the rack. Feels better than the custom tom Ford Olivia used to buy me. She's here, my mother says without turning around. Her voice is steady. Back of the room, wearing a raincoat that's seen better days. I don't look. I already know. I've been expecting her. Let her stay. The kid gives me the signal. I walk out onto the small stage. The applause isn't thunderous. It's genuine. I tap the mic once. Thanks for coming, I start. No theatrics. 3 months ago, I pulled the plug on a system that was being used to hide the truth. Today, we're flipping the script. Welcome to Mercer Health Commons. I see Olivia then. She's wedged between two volunteers handing out programs. Her hair is limp, her makeup non-existent. She looks like she hasn't slept since the indictment dropped. When our eyes meet, she doesn't glare. She just looks hollow. After the speech, I'm shaking hands when I feel a tug on my sleeve. I turn. It's Olivia. She's shaking so bad I can hear her teeth chatter. Daniel, she whispers. Her breath smells like cheap coffee. Please, just 5 minutes. I glance at the security volunteer, a retired state trooper named Hank. He looks at me. I give him a slight nod. He steps back, but keeps his eyes on us. Talk, I say. She looks around, then back at me. Her eyes are red-rimmed. I lost everything. The court, they ruled on the guarantee. 900 million. They've seized the condo, the cars, the trusts. I'm living in a motel off I-40. I'm nothing. You're not nothing, Olivia, I say, my voice flat. You're a convicted felon awaiting sentencing. There's a difference. She flinches. I'm sorry. About your mom. About everything. I was so blind. Lucas, he poisoned me. He told me you were weak. He told me I needed to be ruthless to be respected. I remember, I say. I also remember you telling my mother she was confused while blood was dripping down her chin. Ruthlessness wasn't the problem, Olivia. Loyalty was. She reaches out, her hand hovering over my arm like she's afraid to touch me. I'll fix it. I'll testify against Lucas. I'll tell the world you built Pulse Bridge. I'll go on CNN, on Fox, wherever. I'll clear your name. I'll tell them I forced you to stay quiet. Just please, give me the system back. If I can show the court I'm cooperating by bringing the tech back, maybe they'll reduce the debt. Maybe they'll let me out from under the judgment. I look at her hand. It's trembling. I look at her face. It's the face of a woman drowning, looking for a life raft she burned herself. The system was never yours to take, Olivia, I say, stepping back. And it's not mine to give away anymore. I signed the IP over to the Commons last week. It's a 501c3 now. Irrevocable. Her face crumples. You did that on purpose. You knew this would happen. You wanted me to suffer. I wanted the patients to be safe. I correct her. Your suffering is just the byproduct of your own choices. You didn't apologize because you hurt Mom. You apologized because you need me to pay your $900 million bar tab. She lets out a choked sob. I'm going to be paying that for the rest of my life, Daniel. Every cent I earn, every asset I ever have, it's all gone. I'm going to die in poverty because of one signature. You signed it because you thought you owned me, I say. You thought I'd never let the system fail because I loved you. You gambled my work, my reputation, and my mother's dignity on a lie. The House always wins, Olivia. And today, the House is the United States government. She sinks to her knees right there on the linoleum floor. A few people turn to look. Don't do this, she whispers. I'm begging you. I'll get on my knees every day for the rest of my life if you just let me have a chance. I look down at her. There's no triumph in my chest. Just a cold, hard finality. Get up, Olivia. You're making a scene, and you're wasting your breath. I don't want your guilt. I don't want your confessions. I just want you to remember every time a creditor calls or a judge bangs a gavel that you had a choice the night Lucas hit my mother. You chose the deal. Now, you live with it. I turn to walk back toward the stage, but she grabs my ankle. Her grip is surprisingly strong. Lucas, she spits out. He's fighting extradition. His lawyers are saying I was the mastermind. They're saying I forced him to alter the data. Daniel, you know that's not true. Tell them. Tell them he did it. I look down at her. Why would I do that? You're the one who signed the guarantee. You're the one who stood in front of the investors and called my mother a liar. Lucas might be a thief and a fraud, but you were the CEO. You were the face. And you were the one who decided that a slap was an acceptable price for a $9 billion valuation. I gently but firmly pull my leg free. Hank steps forward, offering her a hand. She slaps it away, struggling to her feet on her own. She sways, looking at me with a mixture of hatred and despair that I know will haunt her more than any prison sentence. You're a monster, she hisses. No, I say, leaning in so only she can hear. I'm the man who kept his word. I told you I'd pull the system if you crossed the line. You ran across it in high heels. Now, get out of here before I have Hank escort you out. The media is starting to arrive, and I'd hate for them to get a picture of the former CEO of Meridian Care groveling on the floor of a community center. She stares at me for a long second, then turns and shuffles toward the exit, her shoulders hunched. She doesn't look back. I walk back to the edge of the stage where my mother is waiting. She's watching Olivia go, her expression unreadable. You didn't have to be so hard on her. Danny, she says softly. I put an arm around her shoulders. Yes, I did, Mom. She needed to hear the truth. She spent 5 years rewriting history. Today, I just handed her the final chapter. Mom leans her head against mine. She's going to be in debt for the rest of her life. Literally, the court said the payments will garnish her wages until she's 90. She should have thought about that before she let Lucas hit you, I say. I look out at the crowd. They're waiting for me, waiting for the man who chose the patience over the profits. She wanted to be a titan of industry. Now, she's just a cautionary tale. I step back up to the podium. The crowd quiets. I look at the empty spot where Olivia was kneeling. I look at my mother. 5 years ago, I built something to help one person I loved, I say, my voice carrying through the room. But I gave it to someone who saw it as a tool for power. Today, we start over. We're giving this technology to the people who actually care about the mission, to the nurses who stay late, to the doctors who fight for their patients, to the communities that have been ignored by the giants. I pause, looking directly at my mother. She smiles, a real, proud smile that reaches her eyes. I used to think loyalty meant staying silent. I continue. But true loyalty is to the truth, to the patients, to the people who never stopped believing in the work. Mom, this one's for you. The room erupts, not with the polite, practiced applause of the Atlanta elite, but with the raw, grateful sound of people who actually matter. I step away from the podium and walk off the stage. Mom meets me at the bottom of the steps. She doesn't say anything. She just hugs me. It's a long, tight hug that smells like antiseptic and ivory soap. It smells like home. Over her shoulder, I see Olivia standing in the parking lot, staring through the glass doors. She's watching us, watching the life she could have had if she'd just chosen differently. A life not built on $900 million of lies, but on the quiet strength of a mother's love and a son's integrity. I hold Mom tighter. Olivia turns and walks into the rain. She doesn't have a car waiting. She doesn't have a driver. She doesn't have a company. She just has a $900 million debt and the memory of a slap that cost her everything. I close my eyes and breathe in the scent of my mother's hair. It's over. Finally. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a small office above a clinic in Boone. Mom is downstairs, helping triage patients. The Pulse Bridge system is running smoothly, managing inventory for 15 rural hospitals across the Appalachians. We're not making a dime in profit, but we're saving lives. My phone buzzes. It's a news alert. Former Meridian CEO Olivia Grant sentenced to 5 years in federal prison for fraud, ordered to repay $900 million in restitution. I delete the notification. I don't need to read it. I already know the ending. I look out the window. The mountains are blue and hazy in the distance. It's quiet here. No drama. No backstabbing. Just the work. Mom knocks on the doorframe. Danny, we've got a kid with a broken arm. Need you to look at the x-rays on the system. Coming, Mom, I say, shutting the laptop. I stand up, grab my stethoscope, and head for the door. As I pass the mirror in the hall, I catch a glimpse of myself. No suit, no tie, just a guy in a flannel shirt doing a job that matters. I smile. This is the real win.